Hi guys, me again. Here is an interesting question. I know I answered this, but I actually don't mind to answer it again because it's something that we don't talk too often about because not too often do I get emails about this subject, but yeah, I talk about it. So this came from I assume a young lady or lady that asked me, she's black, and she asked me for hair removal whether I recommend electrolysis for black skin for black person as a form for hair removal. And my answer is no, and I will explain why. And only under certain circumstances can you use or you have to use electrolysis. But as a choice, as a method for hair removal, no. Particularly not for black skin and dark pigmented skin. And I tell you why. So you guys understand. The method for hair removal for dark and black pigmented skin is CoolGlide. CoolGlide is the only FDA approved laser that can treat skin without destroying the pigment of the skin. Said that. I need to explain why, and I need you guys to understand why I say no for electrolysis and only in particular cases when there is no choice. So when I say when there is no choice is when a black person has white hairs on the face per se, then we have no choice, then we use electrolysis. Why, you ask? I tell you why. Because laser does not see white. Laser only sees color. Laser does not, white, blonde, grayish, light red, ginger red is not color. It's a neutral color, and laser doesn't see it. And for black skin and dark pigmented skin, why I emphasize the CoolGlide YAG-based laser is the only laser that's approved by the FDA and it's safe to use on black skin, because the laser beam is made in such a manner, is calibrated in such a manner that it's actually attracted to the melanin in the hair, the color in the hair, not the color of the skin. Versus all other lasers will treat human skin, will treat hairs, but cannot differentiate between the skin color and the hair color. And CoolGlide differentiates, the YAG laser differentiates between the pigment of the skin to the pigment of the hair. Therefore, the hair, dark hair on dark skin is safe to use with laser. But here is now, I come back to the electrolysis issue, why I'm not such a big fan of electrolysis. I tell you why. What is electrolysis? Electrolysis is a modality, is a piece of equipment, is a machine that uses, actually I will show you because I have one here, and I will actually show you something so you know what I'm talking about. Hold on guys, I'm coming. No, take it. Okay. This is a electrolysis handle. Here at the end of this handle comes a needle. Okay, this part is connected to a machine. The machine has another part, has a foot pedal. When I take a patient that is doing electrolysis and has black skin, here's what happens. How does this work? How does electrolysis work? I insert the needle into a hair follicle. Once the needle is inserted into the hair follicle, I press with my foot on a pedal. The pedal sends heat through this probe, through the needle, into the hair follicle. So all the way down through the needle, the probe, heat goes in. The heat is the one that's supposed to cauterize, destroy the follicle if and when it's in the growing stage. But on black skin, the problem is that when you enter, remember what I said? Heat goes through the probe. in many cases, not every time, but in many cases, when you enter, and you work quite quickly, when you enter the probe into the follicle, you press on the pedal, heat goes in. Many times it burns the skin around the hair follicle, around the hair shaft that comes out when you insert. At times you can hurt it, but that's not even the case. It's that burning. And quite often when you do electrolysis on black skin, and remember, electrolysis has to be done hundreds of times to get rid of the follicles, because you have to treat it until you hit the hair in the growing stage, and it's a process. So every time you go in, 10, 20, 30 times you go into one follicle, not at the same sitting, you repeat it. Well, eventually that follicle, for all the insertions, in, out, in, out, in, out, can leave a mark and then leaves a discoloration. This is why electrolysis is an outdated modality when it comes to black skin. White skin is a different story, although I wouldn't treat white skin with electrolysis either, because it's sort of an obsolete modality unless it's a necessity. So for black skin, the necessity is to use electrolysis only when you have white hair. So for instance, I treat now somebody who is very dark pigmented. She's 48 and she has 70% black hair, but she has 30% white hairs. So the white hairs cannot be treated with laser. So we treat the whole thing, and the white hairs we treat with electrolysis. There is no choice. So when there is no choice, you will treat it. But as a matter of preference, as a matter for speed, as a matter of fact, only Cool Glide, only laser hair remover should be the treatment of choice for all people, but particularly for people of color. So I hope I clarified it to you and to everybody else that listens to it, and I explain now why electrolysis is not the number one choice for people of color, why laser hair removal Cool Glide is the only way to go for all skin colors, but particularly for dark pigmented skin. So thank you for your question, and until next time, adios, bye-bye, Eva.